Hi, my name is Creed. In this video, I'll be telling you which gadgets are must-have if we want to be more competitive in Season 6. This video is more aimed to newer or inexperienced players, but you're not obligated to have less than 100 hours to watch this video. I mean, yeah, I'm not going to come to your house and arrest you for that. Probably. I know that when first starting the game out, the abundance of options can be confusing, so see this as a guide to help you find something that will fit your playstyle and is guaranteed to be at least competitive. These gadgets won't make you instantly a better player, but they are all very strong tools that will make you a better teammate in general. I also won't be going deep in the loadouts, as I think there's people online who are way more qualified and experienced than me that already made videos about fully optimized meta loadouts. I'll also be teaching you the basics on how to use these gadgets, so that you already know what you're supposed to be doing once you pick those up. And a message to all my pro league tryhards players out there: I might not mention or miss some of your favorite gadgets that are used by some of the best players on this game because this video isn't aimed at them. I don't think I got much to teach them, except social interactions, maybe that I can give a hand with. Starting off with light, the first one I'm going to bring up is the getaway. Pretty much the most important gadget if you're playing light in my opinion. This is something that you are accepted to play in higher helos. This is one of the two gadgets that made me make this video in the first place. Now, you might wonder, why is it so good? First off, it is the only mobility gadget in light. While you still have the grapple and dash, the getaway can be used to also help your teammates move around. Teleporting your whole team at the same time is strong. And because enemies can also go through it, this can be also used to trap enemies, even if that's complicated to pull off. But the main way you're going to see this used is for cash boxes. So here's a quick tutorial on that. Get to the cash box first because you're the fastest class in the game. Open it and right click just above the cash box. Wait a few seconds to see if any teams are pushing or reacting. Then get as quickly and close as possible to the next cash out station, up to 70 meters away from the cash box. Then finally, wait for the cash box to open and throw the other end of the portal. The cash box is going to teleport through the portal and you have a 70 meters lead to the station. If your teammates are smart, they will defend the cash box and take the portal once it's open. This is the most common scenario of the getaway. Also, important to note that you can throw anything else than a cash box, like grenades or canister for example. The next one I'm going to bring up is the bridge charge. The reason why the bridge charge is so good is similar to the C4 for heavy, but we'll get to that later. Its main usage is not for damage, but to cancel your cash out station being stolen. The idea is to place your bridge charges under or on your station. Once the enemy team will start sealing it, you can blow up the charge with your left click so that the cash out station drops down and the steal gets cancelled. This is called playing for drop and is something you will see a lot of people do and is especially strong when solo queuing because you can't expect your teammates to always cooperate. You can also use it to, obviously, breach through walls. Wow, who could have guessed it? It could also be used to deal damage to enemies, but I wouldn't recommend it. But this is not necessarily the best gadget to run all the time because it's mainly useful when your cash out station is on the floor, and when it's not, well, there's another option, and that's the gravity vortex, which, to be honest, I can't seem to quite understand yet. I'm more of a bridge charge boy myself, but if your cash out station is close to the void, this is literally the best thing you can use to defend your cash out. This is especially good in moving platforms because if you can place it right, it's guaranteed to fall off the map and win you a solid 5 to 10 seconds before it respawns, which is a lot in contestants math. Again, I'm still trying to figure this thing out, but I personally try to place it towards openings or places that are uncluttered, so that if we have to push for it, we got a clear sight. If you really want to be flexible, my personal advice is that you should always have the bridge charge equipped and the vortex in reserve, so that you can swap them depending on where the cash out stations are, or the other way around. You do you. Now, this is not really a must-have because if you play cloaking device, this thing is useless, but if you play anything else, well, the Vanishing Bomb pretty much allows you and your teammates to be invisible up to 7 seconds. Now, you've obviously played against the light using this because everyone in their mothers are running this, but this is exceptionally strong if you use it on your teammates. I mean, people don't accept 3 people at the same time being invisible. What I personally do is wait for my teammates to be on a choke point just right before we might encounter our enemies. Cloak them so they can at least have a picking advantage. That is, if they don't shoot the second I cloak them. That happens way too often. If you don't know, it is faster to left click. So if you want to cloak yourself, aim at the ground or wall and left click. I could also mention the thermal ball, glitch and sonar grenade, but I just find them being less impactful than the others. Don't get me wrong, they're seen as meta by some, but don't feel necessary. Now coming to medium, and this next gadget is the main reason why I made this video in the first place, after the getaway, the Defibrillator. The Defib, in short, is the best gadget in the game. Period. I don't think I need to explain why raising one of your teammates in 3 seconds is so good, And while it's far from being what it used to be, by that I mean the most ridiculous thing in existence, this is still something that I'm accepting every medium I play with to run. Quick tip on using this: be careful not to rest someone in the middle of a fight beyond no cover because of the revive sickness, which, if you are unaware, is when you revive someone, they can't use any of their abilities for 5 seconds, especially lights. Because of how much they're reliable on their abilities, if you're going to res one that died in the middle of a fight, he is not going to be able to do anything. Also, in general, a quick order on who you should res first is mediums, because they also have a defibrillator, then its seconds are heavies because of their health, and finally lights. But yeah, again, I'm talking about World Tour and ranked here. Do whatever you want in casual, it's okay. The other two gadgets for medium that are must-haves to me are the Zipline and the Jumpad. They are two of the only 3 movement gadgets in the game, which make them super powerful. And no, the gravity cube isn't a movement gadget. I mean, technically yes, this is movement, but no. I'm putting them together because you should always have one equipped and the other in the reserve, and they basically serve the same purpose but very differently. While the Jumpad is far more popular and flexible than the Zipline, my hot take is that I will argue that they are as good. You could also be running both together. I know it's something that people do, I just don't find myself needing the two of them at the same time. So you wonder, which one should I pick? Well, the Jumpad is mainly used if you want to get somewhere fast and close. So if I'm playing Cerberus and DMAT for example, I will use the Jumpad, which at the time of recording this video is basically being a f***ing menace to society. This is also good to run if you have a dashing light with you, so that you can take advantage of the speed boost. And you'll be a lot more aggressive than with a zipline, which in the other hand, if you're playing range or with heavies, I would argue are better because they can get you further but slower. I think they were very underrated for most of the game life cycle, and ladies, I've been a zip boy myself all along. But heavies are not going to take as much advantage with Jumpads as they can with ziplines. The only argument for the Jumpad that will make it better on paper is that it's more versatile. It can be used to move cash outs or block doorways, but at the end of the day, it really depends on what and your teammates are playing. Honorable mention to the glitch mine, which I personally think is the best mine in the game at the moment, purely because of how annoying it is. I mean, this is the only mine that once gets activated, well, you know, it doesn't blow up. I think it's always good to have one in reserve to counter someone that outplays you with the gadgets or specializations. And finally, for heavy, I'll start with the most underrated one, which is the C4. Just like the bridge charge, your main use for this is when you're playing for drops, but this one can be used to deal damage. You can also combo this with the RPG to deal an insane amount of damage. I say underrated because in low to mid tiers, I don't see anyone using this, and it often gets overshadowed by the RPG. Generally speaking, at the beginning of a match, when I'm checking my teammates loadout and I have a C4 equipped, I just know they're going to be good players. The next one is a dome shield, the bubble shield, the big blue ball, whatever you want to call it. Now, everyone has been running this since the beginning of the game, and there's a good reason for that. It's the most versatile shield you can get, and even if it's been heavily nerfed, this is still the only 360 protection from bullets that you can have in game. You're generally going to use this when engaging a fight so you can deal damage and not receive any. The fact that this is a one-way shield also means that this is very often used in 1v1 situations where you'll find yourself dancing around the shield, if that makes sense. Also super basic, but important to know, when reviving someone, if you don't know if the area is safe, always bubble just in case. And you know, maybe because I've been using it since I first started playing the game, it just feels unnatural to me not to use it. I've been using this as a panic button for 100 of hours now, just like the RPG, which is still versatile and considered meta by some, but warning, this is a hot take, I just don't think it is as necessary as it was. It used to be something that pretty much everyone ran, just like the Defibrillator for example, because it was that overpowered. I mean, this thing could pretty much one-shot a light and felt like heavy at a secondary weapon.
Remember, switching to your pistol is always faster than reloading.
I honestly think that the reason why most people still run it, including myself, is because we got too used to it. It almost feels like the older player base cannot play without it. Yes, it is still incredibly versatile, but at least the lock bolt won't kill you, right? Right? And the reason I didn't bring the barricade is because I think that the final gadget I want to bring up is better and universal to every build, and that's the Goo Grenade. Yes, this thing right here. Now, if you don't know, you might wonder what the f I'm on, but to me, this is one of the best gadgets in game, easily top 3. Yes, the Goo Grenade. I'm being dead serious here. Just like you, a couple of months ago, I would have never flinched from using this. But then I realized how strong the Goo canister was and that there was literally a way to always have one in hand. Its main use, obviously, is going to be for protection. This is the only wall you can use on medium and light. Now, obviously, this being a wall, it can also be used to close range on other players, protect your teammates when stealing a cash out, panicking and filling gaps, and I'm not talking about the one in resume. the Goo Grenade won't fix that. But this can also be used for climbing. As shown in the background video, this can be very helpful when approaching buildings and not having any windows to use, or to make bridges between buildings. This can also be used to stun players. By placing it at the right time, you can freeze an enemy for a second or two. That also means that you can cancel someone from stealing the cash out. And not only can you freeze other players, you can also goo yourself and become immune for damage for a second or two. Because of how unaccepted it is, people rarely have the reflexes to deal with your gooferys, pun intended. This can be used as a movement, offensive, and defensive gadget for a single slot. Now, to be fair, it's not the best gadget for any of its roles. The barricade is doing a better wall job. The stun gun is, well, a better stun, and the jump pad is a better movement gadget. But most of these are only available to one class. This does it all on every class. Even though this video is aimed towards newer players, I would highly recommend the Goo Grenade to more experienced players, because you need to have a lot of game sense and understanding of the game as a whole in order to exploit this thing to its full potential. And also the thing on its own is still very confusing because of how the Goo physics works in general. Like, we used to be able to make planes out of Goo. Right? On a closing note, I'm not forcing anyone to use these, obviously. At the end of the day, most of you are playing this game to have fun. Prioritize that. The only two ones which I think are not replaceable in a competitive settings are the Getaway and Defibrillator, because there's no other options in their respective builds. I'm sure I obviously passed on some gadgets or techniques in this video, just like I did in my first one when I was unaware of how OP the minigun was. Don't mention the minigun incident. So feel free to share what are your must-use gadgets. And, you know, over time, try them all out. Find what really works for you. I just want to take a moment to just say how grateful I am for the support in the last video. I did not expect that much positive feedback, that many comments, that many likes and everything. I've been trying my best to reply to everyone, but it's been complicated. Also, crazy to say, but thank you for 100 subscribers already. In one video, and I know in the greater scheme of things this is just baby numbers, but it does mean a lot to me. So yeah, thank you so much. By the time you're seeing this, I'm already working on my next video of the finals. I don't know how long it's gonna take. You know, I'm trying to upload at least every 2 weeks, but I don't know if I'm going to be able to do that with my current life. But yeah, again, let me know if you want to see something specific about the finals. You know, I'm not the best player in the game, but I think I do have a lot of knowledge of except for the NA meta apparently. But yeah, thank you guys for watching, and I'll catch you next time.